May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be always acceptable unto thee, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Isaiah prophesies to the southern kingdom of Judah before the rise of Babylon as a world power. While Isaiah is living, Assyria is still the dominant empire. In fact, Assyria wipes out the northern kingdom of Israel and besieges Jerusalem, the capital of Judah. And it is only by a miracle from God that Jerusalem and Judah are saved from the same fate. But even as he is living through the siege of Jerusalem by the Assyrians, over 150 years beforehand, Isaiah predicts that Judah, all that is left of the realm of King David, will be overrun by Babylon, that city which has not yet seriously challenged the power of Assyria. The people of Judah will be taken into exile in Babylon as a judgment on their unfaithfulness. But Isaiah also prophesies that God will eventually judge Babylon itself and deliver his people from their exile and bring them back to the land of promise. In our reading today, it is to the Babylonians themselves that God is speaking directly. You wouldn't know that without going back to the text and getting some context. So he's speaking actually to Babylon through the prophet Isaiah 150 years ahead. The pagan conquerors, according to the prophecy, have now become the vanquished, yet they still cling to their idols, which cannot save them. And God says, "Turn to me and be saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am God, and there is no other." None of the idols of the Babylonians foretold what would happen. Only the God of Israel did, through his prophet Isaiah. And yet, the God of Israel offers his salvation to the whole world, even to the Babylonian oppressors, because he is the author and creator of the whole world. "To me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear," he says through Isaiah. "Only in the Lord it shall be said of me, are righteousness and strength. To him shall come and be ashamed all who were incensed against him." Only in the Lord are righteousness and strength. And of course, the prophecies of Isaiah are fulfilled in due course. Assyria falls to Babylon. Babylon becomes the new world power. Babylon then enslaves the last remnant of the people of Judah. But then Babylon is conquered by Persia, and the exiles are freed to return to the land of promise. All the predictions of Isaiah are true. But it remains to be seen how God will provide salvation to the ends of the earth. He's provided salvation to his people Israel. How will he save the whole earth? And the promise remains a hope rather than a present reality. And the returned exiles continue to wait for their Messiah and to confuse their ideas about that Messiah because they are still under oppression. And in the fullness of time comes one Jesus of Nazareth, who, being in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped. Our translation has, "though he was in the form of God." I don't think that's a good translation. I don't think that his attitude was in spite of being God. I think it was because he was God. Only in the Lord are righteousness and strength, says Isaiah. We are the ones who think that equality with God is a thing to be grasped, because we are evil and weak. The eternal second person of the Holy Trinity did not, precisely because he is righteous and strong. He doesn't need to grasp at equality with God. And so God himself, the one who spoke through Isaiah, emptied himself of the divine form and humbled himself to take on our form, which is the form of a slave under judgment. And the righteousness of God, the one who alone is righteous, is shown forth in the vast humility of the cross. And the strength of God, the one who alone is strong, is shown forth in the submission and obedience of the cross. Jesus carried the entire massive weight of the unfathomable sin of the entire world, and he brought it to an end. So now we know. Now we know how God proposes to extend salvation to the ends of the earth by the cross of Christ. We also know what righteousness and strength look like. Righteousness and strength look exactly the opposite of what we would expect. Again, because we are bad and weak. Righteousness and strength look like the image that we have before us every week, the crucifix. That's what righteousness and strength look like. There's one other thing that we know for sure. We know that what God has said will come to pass. Every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. But there are still two very different kinds of people. Not everyone will be pleased to confess that Jesus is Lord. Some will bow the knee to Christ only under compulsion and judgment. On the other hand, there are those people who will rejoice when he comes. There are those people who are waiting patiently, longing for that day when they are fully in his presence. There are those people who don't care so much about being judged as long as they get to be with Jesus. There's only one question left. Which of those are you? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.